Hey everyone, welcome to Waypoint. We're really excited to have you, and it's been a year of a lot of growth here at OpenSpace, and I'm really psyched to finally be able to share with you some of the things that we've been quietly working away on this whole year. New technologies, new products and features, and new partnerships that we think are going to fundamentally simplify how the world gets built. That is, after all, why our company exists, to simplify how the world gets built, to make the lives of really everybody, the men and women in construction, easier. And the way we do that at OpenSpace is through the magic of AI and computer vision technology. I want to cover 4 themes with you as I kick Waypoint off. But before I do that, for those of you that aren't maybe familiar with what OpenSpace does, I'm going to try to give you a 30-second, in a nutshell description of what our core products actually do. And it's pretty simple. What we do is we make it incredibly easy to generate 100% complete visual records of your job site, inside and out, so you can see what's going on from anywhere at any time. And OpenSpace is super easy to use, so you can capture your job site every week or every day, kind of giving you a time machine so you can see, well, what's there today, but maybe what was there yesterday or a week ago or 5 years ago. And with this level of documentation, something really cool happens. All those questions, the waiting, the disputes that plague a lot of job sites, they just kind of go away because we replace opinions with facts. Because after all, a picture really is worth 1,000 words. So let me give you a quick tour. In OpenSpace, what happens is we have our users are able to simply walk the job, and as they do that, the video is just clicking away, and what the core technology does is it digests those images and places them on the floor plan. So as a result, you can see everything that's going on your job site. It looks like this, kind of like Google Street View. Look around, see what's there, and enjoy the power of just having facts. You can see that blue squiggle there and that green squiggle. That's just the past someone walked and all the images that were pinned to that floor plan. And as I mentioned, it's really, really easy to use, so you can answer questions in OpenSpace that, quite frankly, are almost impossible to answer without this technology. For example, let's say you really need to know where the rebar and PT cable is after you pour the concrete. It's pretty hard to do without OpenSpace, but with us, it's just a click away. Let's just rewind the clock. We'll split the screen, go to a date a few weeks earlier, and boom, there you go. Pretty magic. And very simple and very easy. Now, looking at the reality is really good, but there's more you can do with OpenSpace too. You can compare what's there with what should be there. If you're using a BIM model, upload it into our system. And you can look at the reality versus the model. We launched a product called BIM Plus last year that really supercharges this capability and makes the BIM model really valuable for everyone in the field. We're showing here a BIM element overlay feature where you can take something in the model, warp it into the reality, and see if everything is lining up. Now, that's some of the things OpenSpace core technology does, but at the end of the day, what do we do? What does this allow you to do? Well, it's really a collaboration platform where you can keep everybody on your project on the same page, wherever they are and whenever they are. So a lot of the questions go away and things can just move faster. Now, to be clear, that's just a little taste of what we do. There's a lot more capabilities that OpenSpace provides, task management systems that we call field notes, progress tracking, which we'll talk about more later, incorporation of laser scans. But hopefully that's a quick sense of what OpenSpace is all about. Back to these 4 core themes I want to cover. They are, number 1, scale, number 2, AI and innovation, the third is productivity, and the last, ROI, or return on investment. Let's just take them one at a time. Scale. Okay, scale is one of these sort of like tech industry words, scaling, hyperscaling. What does it really mean? It just means operating at a certain level where you can handle anything your customer throws at you. Put it in a more simple way, it just means reliability. It means OpenSpace is reliable. That if you're using us on one project or thousands, we can handle it because we're operating at scale. I want to prove this to you with a few visualizations and just some facts and numbers. This is an image of all the OpenSpace deployments across all the projects across the world. As you can see, it's a lot, and it adds up to a lot of construction value, almost $700 billion in projects. That's a lot. This means that we're serving a lot of users, more than 250,000. It's a lot of data, 2.1 billion images, 360 images. And this adds up to just a lot of project area. 37 billion square feet of data has been processed by OpenSpace. And this, by the way, all with 99.999% uptime. So what does this mean? It means we're reliable. And we believe that no one can touch us in this regard. And by the way, we're not just reliable, we're fast. You know, when you upload that video after you do a job walk with us, the average turnaround time is around 15 minutes. It's very quick. That's some AI technology working very rapidly. And we need to be quick because job sites move quickly and our technology has to as well. And we're really proud of both that reliability and that speed. So yes, I think we have the scale, and hopefully these numbers prove it, but the scale also comes with another benefit, something we're really proud of, which is our team. Our team. A lot of our team members here at OpenSpace have almost literally walked in your shoes, or I guess your boots. They come from the industry. What that means is we know what you're dealing with, we understand your problems, and we can honestly interact with you and see if we can help you out. A lot of our folks at OpenSpace have actually been OpenSpace users before they joined us. And we think this is an important thing that we want to offer you, is just an understanding of what you're going through and the opportunity to have a conversation and see if we can help you. So yes, some cool numbers on scale and a great team. I want to get a little bit more specific though in the types of projects that people use our technology on. They do use us on big complex projects like hospitals. Chad here at US Engineering used us on a hospital project and leverage in particular our BIM capabilities to keep the project on track. Hospitals are complex. You know what's even more complex? City-scale oil and gas projects. ExxonMobil is one of our customers, and they use our technology to keep distributed teams on task. So yeah, you can use us on super big complex projects, but OpenSpace is really simple and easy to use. You can use us on just about anything. Let's take a look at Journey Construction. The project we're showing here is kind of a mixed-use multifamily project. Not uncomplicated, but not exactly a hospital, but OpenSpace was extremely valuable. But by the way, they've used us on all kinds of projects at Journey, including things like schools, even convenience stores. In fact, many of our customers don't do ground-up construction at all, just renovation and TI type projects. The point I'm trying to make here is that this type of technology, given our focus on simplicity and reliability, is not just for mega projects and complex stuff. It's for small ones, things that need to happen quickly. And that's kind of why we're able to achieve this scale, because the applicability of the technology is super broad. Okay, that's our scale story. I want to next move to AI and innovation. And innovation, yeah, it's another one of these sort of tech buzzwords, doing new stuff. What does it mean? Well, the way I interpret that is this: future-proofing. Future-proofing your business. At OpenSpace, we want to be your partner that helps you navigate a world that's changing fast, changing in terms of processes and changing in terms of technology. What we want to do is provide you with tools that, yes, keep you very competitive on the cutting edge, but not cutting edge tools that are so sharp they cut you. We want things that are reliable, and we take a lot of pride in that. So I want to talk about some of the new technologies that we are bringing to market right now. And I'm very excited to introduce a new set of technologies that we've been chipping away at over the past year and longer. And we call that OpenSpace's Spatial AI. This is really cool stuff, okay? So what I want to do is just tell you what spatial AI means, unpack that term, and then give you a couple of examples, some teases really, on what this technology is really capable of doing and how it can really help you build more efficiently and simplify how the world gets built. So let's dig into it. Spatial AI. Okay, the first part is spatial computing. What is spatial computing? It's pretty simple. It just means computers being aware of what's going on in real physical reality. You know, not just a computer understanding a spreadsheet or a document or something typed in, but actually what's going on in the real physical world. You may have heard this term spatial computing before. Apple uses it to describe their Apple Vision Pro headset. But spatial computing isn't just limited to things that are complicated like this or laser scanners. It's really anything that's able to digitize reality, like say a 360 camera or something you probably have in your pocket right now. Your smartphone has a camera. It can digest a lot of information about what's going on out there in real reality. It does it, I'm sure, in your regular lives as consumers. And as you probably know, there's a lot of mobile phone photos that are being taken on your job site every day. And we've got some pretty cool new things that we're going to announce. You're going to hear from Neil, our VP of product, later about what we're doing with mobile phone photos. It's not spatial computing. Computers aware of real physical reality. And then we merge that with AI, which, in my simple definition, is making computers do smart stuff. Of course, the latest wave of this is large language models or generative AI. And we've been leveraging these technologies to build some cool stuff. If you look inside what we're doing here at OpenSpace, we take these inputs, like 360 videos and mobile phone photos, documents like drawings, and even tasks, which are logged in our field note system. We run it through this technology system composed of these two components, spatial computing and AI. And what we get out are two main things: context and insight. Context, what is going on with this information? Where was it taken? How can I make sense of what's actually getting flown into the database that OpenSpace is organizing for you? And insight, what does this data mean? Can I ask the system a question and get an answer quickly? That might sound all kind of abstract, so I want to be really concrete and give you two quick examples of what spatial AI technology can do. Let's talk a little bit about output on context. I mentioned mobile phone photos before. What we're going to enable you to do is upload those mobile phone photos into OpenSpace, and we built an AI assistant that will scan through those photos and figure out which ones it can actually just automatically pin to the drawing, all by itself. So that random pile of mobile phone photos suddenly becomes valuable because it now has location. That's one of the things spatial AI is capable of doing. You can see it right here. This photo right here was figured out that it landed at this particular part of the job. And there you go. That all happened just through the magic of the spatial AI technology. So we're giving a lot of meaning to these images. That's one example of providing context. What about insight? Well, we've been training our system to really understand what's going on in these images in a pretty powerful and pretty general way. It's pretty incredible, actually, to me. So what if you could just ask OpenSpace a question? What if you could just search OpenSpace, all this visual data, for things you're looking for? I'll give you an example. Let's say it's time to see if you can let the drywall crew start doing their job. Is the material there? Is it staged? Where is it? Well, why don't you just ask OpenSpace? Just type it in. Where are the pallets of drywall? Where are they stacked up? And it can find it. It's pretty amazing, right? Like being able to search all this data and find an answer super quickly. That's another power of spatial AI technology. And we are very stoked to be able to be leading the charge on this new way of getting the job done. Pretty cool stuff. Our AI and innovation story doesn't stop there, of course. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about progress tracking. So for those of you that may not be aware, we at OpenSpace have a progress tracking product that we call OpenSpace Track. And what it does is it's able to identify certain materials like framing, drywall that's hung, drywall that's taped, and using your takeoffs, figure out your percent complete. It's pretty handy, especially for trades that are very focused on these certain things that they need to know are getting done from 0, 50, 100%, which is great. But as we learned and talked to a lot more of you, especially in general contractors and owners side, all your projects are different. There is no one-size-fits-all solution for progress tracking. So we wanted to understand that and offer something that really gives you the flexibility, the comprehensiveness, and the reliability that you need to define how progress tracking should work for you. And we're very excited to announce something we call Milestone Tracking. And what Milestone Tracking does is it allows you to consult with us, figure out for that specific project, what are the key things you need to track, tasks, milestones versus your schedule, and input that into our system, and then we can track to see if that stuff is going according to plan. As I mentioned, it's very flexible. It has to be, because projects are all different, and there's no one-size-fits-all, so we can do that. It's comprehensive. What you need to track for your particular project, well, it can really depend. And this milestone tracking system can track almost 700 specific components, anything you can kind of see on the job site. And last, it's reliable. But what's the point if you can't trust the system? And the way we're achieving that is through a partnership with Disperse, a company that is a battle-tested, hardened, milestone-based progress tracking system that's been out for a long time. So with our milestone tracking offering, we're jointly offering you two things. One, the absolute best, most reliable capture system on the planet, which I submit as OpenSpace, with a battle-hardened system in Disperse. We're really excited to be writing this new chapter for progress tracking for the industry, and you're going to hear a lot more detail of how this works from Neil coming up. Okay, a lot of cool stuff we're doing on future-proofing your business. Man, I could spend an hour talking about that. And in fact, Mike, our CTO, is going to do a deep dive into spatial AI later, so definitely stay tuned for that, because it's pretty incredible stuff. Next topic, my third, productivity. Yeah, it's another one of these biz words. What do we really mean by productivity? Getting things done. Getting things done. That's what we want to do for you. Allow you to do your job more efficiently through OpenSpace. And we've noticed that you're already doing this. We have field notes functionality, and a bunch of our customers are using it to do things like punch lists and just deal with tasks. It's just easier to do some things when you can see what's going on than just by reading words. And we noticed some other workflows that we thought could really benefit from this image-first type way of doing things. One of those is just checklists. Safety walks, QA, QC. What if you could just set up a checklist within OpenSpace, and as you walk around with a 360 camera or just your phone, you can say pass, fail, pass, fail. I mean, it's definitely better than paper and pen, that's for sure, but it's also better than just a regular old text-based mobile phone-based system. I mean, if you can see what's going on, you can trust the checklist was done right. So we're very excited to announce a new product we call Check Plus that allows you to do exactly that. It's simple. It's deceptively simple. Checklists are useful. They are how you get things done in construction and kind of anything. And we wanted to enable that directly within OpenSpace. And you're going to hear more about how this works, again, from Neil in his session. Last topic, ROI, return on investment. That's what we're all trying to do, right? You invest something and you try to get return more than you invest. That's the goal of really any process or any business, really. How can we do that for you? Well, we already do that at OpenSpace, right, in a lot of ways. We know that some of our customers have cut their travel budgets in half because they just don't need to get people around the city or even the world when you have a system like ours. There are hundreds of stories where there's a change order or something that will really cost you money that's instantly squashed by OpenSpace that more than pays for the software. And stories where you can just have fewer people working on a job site because they can coordinate remotely. Those are all true and those are all great, and we're really proud of all that. But I want to say something bigger. What if we, as a technology company, can deliver not just that kind of ROI, but actually literally save you money for reals? Now, that might seem weird. How could a technology company actually do this, make your job more profitable or make the budget of a construction project less? It does sound weird, but it's happening and it's possible, and we are delivering it for you now. I want to tell you how this all came about with a few stories. One thing we noticed our customers doing in the past few years is all the things I mentioned, but also dealing with something in particular, insurance claims. I remember a few years ago, we had one of our customers building a stick frame construction project, and there were some kids next door who were lighting off some fireworks, which is bad. Don't use fireworks. Anyways, they did, and this building caught on fire. Now, it didn't totally destroy the whole building, but it caused a lot of fire damage, right? This is very bad. It's bad for a lot of reasons, obviously. One is you need to remediate that quick to keep your project on schedule, and two, you need to recoup the costs, because that's an insurance claim. Luckily, these builders were using OpenSpace, and they said, aha, you know what we can do? Why don't we just share a link to OpenSpace with the insurance adjuster so they can process the claim virtually? And it worked. They're able to get the claim dealt with in a day. That would have taken weeks otherwise to get someone on site. That was huge savings for this job, not just on the insurance claim, but also on the speed and keeping the job moving. Now, this isn't the only story we've heard. The next one I want to tell, it has to do with natural disasters and damage. And by the way, before I get into this, I know that we're currently doing something pretty scary in Florida. We have team members there, customers, and there's a lot of people. So our heart goes out to you. I just wanted to say that before I get into the next story, because these natural disasters are real, and they're a feature of modern life, and we need to adapt to them. And we see our customers doing that now. In fact, 2 years ago, when Hurricane Ian churned through Florida, we had DeAngelis Diamond building a project there. And they said, you know what, this is going to cause damage almost for sure. So what they did is they made sure to do a complete walk with OpenSpace prior to the storm hitting, and then went after. And then they had this record of the actual damage, and they could easily and quickly process the claim. You can see Drew right here. He says, This has aided in getting our owners' claims paid quickly and getting our subs back to work. So these stories piling up of people using OpenSpace to deal with insurance, which, as you all know, is a pretty costly part of the budget. So we started to think to ourselves, man, at the end of the day, if you think about the data collected by OpenSpace, it just makes projects less risky. It means if there's a claim, you can process it way more quickly. By the way, a lot of your insurance premium goes to funding claims processing, so it's hard to do in construction. And then we thought further, I wonder if people that use OpenSpace just have fewer claims in general. Now, we're not an insurance company, so we just speculated. But it turns out an actual insurance company studied this. And because OpenSpace is operating at scale, there's a lot of data out there and a lot of examples of people using our technology. They're able to study it and prove to themselves, as an insurance carrier, some pretty interesting things. Number one, if you look at all the customers that use OpenSpace versus those that don't, the frequency of claims of OpenSpace users is far less, dramatically less, than those that don't use the technology. Even more profound, if you take a given builder and you look at their claims frequency prior to using our technology, then after, the claims frequency goes down a lot. And what this insurance carrier, who you're going to hear from more, Shepherd, realized is like, hey, that's competitive advantage. That's risk we can underwrite. What if we can go out to market and for anybody that's using OpenSpace, provide a big discount, up to 25% on their insurance premium? And by the way, I'm talking about wrap policies, OSIPs, CSIPs, the kinds of policies that cover pretty much anything and everything that goes on a job site. This is now a reality. Shepherd has partnered with us to offer savings to all of you that use OpenSpace technology to provide real, genuine, large discounts, up to 25%, as I mentioned. Here's a project, it's a pretty large one. You can look at the quote without using OpenSpace and the quote using OpenSpace, and adds up to an incredible amount of money, more than 200 grand. That's a lot. And by the way, just to be super clear, these discounts are going to be more than the cost of OpenSpace software. So we are literally putting profit back on your pocket. It's just that simple. So for all you CFOs and CEOs that are watching this, maybe you're asleep for everything I was saying about productivity, AI, and innovation and scale. But wake up for this. Use our OpenSpace technology and literally save money. I mean, I don't know. To me, this gets us into absolute no-brainer status. You should just use this technology and scale it up across your entire enterprise. It just doesn't make sense not to. So pretty cool, pretty exciting, and for us, we're proud of this, to be able to make a literal dent in your business to help you become more profitable and do whatever you want with that profit. You can bank it, maybe you can beat more competitive bids, or maybe you can give your team members bigger bonuses at the end of the year. Your call. So those are my 4 themes. Scale. We're operating at a scale that I don't think anybody in our category is, which means that we're reliable. We can throw something at us and we can handle it. And innovation, we are investing in technologies that we think really move the needle for you. They're very powerful. They're complex under the hood, but they're simple to use. Productivity, we just want to help you get more of your work done in an image-first way when it's appropriate. And last, use OpenSpace and just save money. It's that simple. So, like I said, we've grown a lot this year. We've been working on a lot of cool stuff. And the rest of Waypoint, we're going to go do some deeper dives into all the things I had a chance to talk to about just now and introduce. And with that, I think we're going to cut over and learn more about how you can use OpenSpace to save money on your insurance policy.
Industry around insurance. So first, Justin, can you please give us an intro to yourself and Shepherd?
Sure. Thanks, Robert, and thanks for having me on Waypoint this year. My name is Justin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Shepherd. I spent my whole career in commercial construction. Originally was a civil engineer in the industry, and then took a path through finance and risk management. Ultimately led to founding my first startup, which is a company called TradeTap, which we eventually sold to Autodesk. So Shepherd is my second startup in the construction space, really founded on this idea that insurance companies could be looking differently at tools and technology and the impacts that those have from a risk management perspective on insurance claims.
Excellent. And then specifically, we are working together on something called Shepherd Savings. Can you please describe that program in a little more detail?
Yeah, I mean, Shepherd Savings was honestly the core vision of why we founded the company. We really wanted to be able to deliver on this promise that if a company had invested in a tool like OpenSpace, and we have other partners in different categories as well, that we could underwrite that data and we could ultimately give them dollars back in their pocket in order to continue those types of investments. So Shepherd Savings is an insurance program. It applies to all of our casualty products. So Shepherd today provides general liability, workers' compensation, commercial auto, as well as excess liability. And what we do is we take the information and the utilization data about how a contractor uses a tool like OpenSpace. We include that in the underwriting, and then we apply credits and savings directly onto our insurance proposals. Ultimately, what that looks like and where that becomes valuable is it's dollars. So reduced premiums on top tier, top quality coverage that serve contractors who ultimately are all doing the best things they can do to reduce claims.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to go we'll get into Shepherd Savings in more detail in a minute, but we're going to start kind of broad. And I want to get your thoughts on kind of what are some of the market challenges out there, also some of the opportunities, and then why is now the right time to found a company like Shepherd and to launch a program like Shepherd Savings?
And so we've entered the construction insurance market at a time where we feel like it is ripe for innovation. The old way of doing things, underwriting using the same data points, looking at contractors the exact same way year over year, projects, owners, developers, it hasn't really worked in terms of sustainability. And so, we feel like Shepherd is an answer to a lot of those problems. It doesn't mean that claims are immediately going to go away, but we do think that insurance carriers can be better partners to their clients and the ones that ultimately they're providing coverage to, so that we can continue to reduce the claim curve over time as customers lean in on these things that are making them better risks.
Great. And then for folks who might not be aware, what's a typical sort of insurance percentage of project that a company, a contractor, or builder might spend on insurance today?
Yeah, it's meaningful, and part of the reason why we focus on an industry like commercial construction, and even more specifically, Shepherd is kind of a middle market and larger type of insurance carrier. So businesses as small as 25 million in construction volume, all the way up through multi-billion in scale. Typically, on an annual basis, a contractor is spending about 1% of their construction volume or their revenue on insurance. So, a $100 million business might spend $1 million on insurance premium every year across, multiple different coverage lines and things of that nature. On a project specific, so in many cases, for a large project, we'll see, what is referred to as a wrap-up be the preferred method of delivering insurance. So that's one insurance policy that's covering all the different trades and contractors that are operating on that particular job site. And typically this makes sense on larger projects. And that can be anywhere from 3 to 10% of project costs just for the insurance alone. And so when you move the needle on something like insurance, you do really move the needle in terms of competitiveness. One contractor's rates versus another can be the difference between whether or not they win and lose a project. And then honestly, on the project side, for a standalone project, it can be the difference between whether or not that project even goes and becomes a real project, or whether or not it's delayed or even abandoned over the long term.
Yeah, very interesting. So I'm going to jump right down into Shepherd Savings. Of course, this is an open space conference, so I want to talk about open space. And right, surprise. And you did the math. So can you talk a little bit about sort of what you saw when customers were using OpenSpace versus those who were not using OpenSpace, and some of the numbers that came out of that analysis?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna share some slides here so we can all look at some of the data. Obviously, some things that we've analyzed become part of our secret sauce, but from a upfront perspective, what matters here first and foremost is dollars. We are able to offer, in many cases, up to 25% difference in terms of lower premium on what we refer to as a Shepherd Savings policy versus a traditional or basic policy. And this gets applied on annual practice programs, the once per year purchases that cover the majority of a project, as well as those large project specific policies that are often referred to as OSIP or CSIP projects. So lower premiums is value number one. Value number two, which we are really excited about as well, for those annually renewing programs, we're often able to offer multi-years. This is an answer to a lot of the instability and inconsistency that contractors are facing every single year, where they really have no idea what their rate renewal is going to look like. We're actually able to tailor this program and guarantee rate renewals at flat or slightly even above or slightly above that, but within a certain cap. If a contractor is going to be agreeing to utilizing a tool like OpenSpace or others at the same or even better levels throughout the term of their policy.
Great. So if I look at that 25% number from the previous slide, it seemed like the numbers you just said before, between 3 to 10% insurance cost per project, that would more than pay for OpenSpace. Is that typically the case?
Yeah, honestly, we wouldn't do the program, and we don't think that it would make as much, really wouldn't be as compelling if we weren't able to basically offset the entire cost of a product like OpenSpace. We want to make it a no-brainer. We want somebody to look at a proposal from Shepherd and say, I'm almost always going to choose Shepherd Savings. I'm always going to lean into the technology and the adoption, because not only am I getting that cost reimbursed through lower premiums, but I'm actually even saving on top of that. So oftentimes we exceed the cost of OpenSpace when we are providing a Shepherd Savings proposal. And the sort of just to jump into some of the data, the math, the rationale behind why we're able to feel so confident. Generally speaking, we have seen that contractors who adopt OpenSpace tend to outperform by some really, really big percentages. So everything that you see up on this slide, 50% less claims from a frequency perspective. This is all general liability that we're talking about. So the GL coverage line, 57% reduction by top users. So we see that contractors who lean on an OpenSpace more often tend to, or in a more consistent way, with the top utilization metrics tend to outperform even further. And then these bottom two metrics, 41% post-adoption reduction in claim frequency. That means that once contractors start adopting OpenSpace, not only do they start from a good place, but they actually get to a much better place really, really quickly. So claims go down almost immediately. And that translates to almost 26% loss rate reduction, meaning the average size of a claim of a business who is utilizing OpenSpace is about 1/4 less than their peers in the industry.
Yeah, that's amazing. Which therefore you can give this 25% discount or up to 25% premium reduction with confidence because of these numbers kind of backing it up. The flip side, right, is that, wait, do I have to do a bunch of reporting, and what does usage mean, and what does adoption mean? So what does adoption mean? What, when you say, if you use and utilize OpenSpace, you will get these premium, you're eligible for these premium reductions. What does use and utilize mean?
Yeah, honestly, we view this as standard usage, meaning, for the most part, weekly capture of a job site. If we're talking about a building with multiple floor plans and stories, we're talking about capturing the entire project at least once per week. Obviously, on a project-by-project basis, the amount of captures and the frequency is going to make sense or be tailored to that particular job. But where we see the best results is when contractors are choosing to do job walks at least once per week, which we believe to be pretty standard in terms of most OpenSpace customers.
Yeah, and that's what's exciting, right? Is that this is just the stuff you're already doing as an OpenSpace user makes you eligible for this. There's no extra on top. So that's super exciting. Yeah, and I know we just launched this few months ago. I think we've had several engagements with customers. Happy to say we've actually closed our first deal together. What learnings you have so far, and how's it going?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, really excited about that first net new deal. So that's a customer who purchased OpenSpace for a project that otherwise may not have purchased OpenSpace on that particular project. But we've had, as Robert knows, we've had dozens of customers who have already been able to take advantage of discounts just by virtue of their existing use of OpenSpace. So we extend this program obviously to everybody that's already utilizing the tool. And so it's going well. I think that the big frontier for us is the ability to influence the way that contractors, and in some cases, owners and developers think about the deployment of technology on a net new project or across their portfolio. So we see value not only in rewarding customers who are already doing the right things, but incentivizing them to start to think about what they could be doing to benefit themselves on the insurance side immediately.
Yeah, and so just to sort of drill into that, obviously the two ways here are you've got an OSIP or a CSIP that you're running if you're an owner or a contractor, and you're not currently using OpenSpace on that project, and then this premium reduction could very likely pay for OpenSpace. Or if you're using OpenSpace on a large number of your projects, if you went more broadly across enterprise and up the percentage of projects that have OpenSpace, then you're eligible for more discounts across different lines. And so both of those vectors, if you will, are things that we're working on. And so either you're already using it and you can just get credit for that, or this is more reason to move it into more projects. So it's very exciting. So thank you for all of that, Justin. I think given time, I think we want to wrap up here. I always like to land with some clear next steps. And so not so much on this Shepherd savings part, we'll talk about that in a minute, but generally, are there kind of 2 or 3 things that you might recommend either execs at builders or risk managers? What could they do, or sort of tangible things they can do to get ahead of the curve?
In the future and where we're in some ways already living and in many ways where we're headed is that the role of risk management needs to extend into the operation side of the business, specifically for where technology is being purchased and deployed. We run into a lot of customers who are deploying different technologies throughout their portfolio. And we find generally that the customers who are adopting a more standardized approach, one set of technologies, one technology stack, if you will, actually leads to more effective results because they can really hone in on how do they want to use these tools, and then they can apply that consistently across the portfolio. So standardization is a theme that I would certainly recommend to as many risk managers who are getting involved in the technology decision making. And then finally, I think for a lot of risk managers, getting up to speed on what are the technologies that the company has deployed, what are being used, what are the things that have traditionally been focused on productivity and efficiency, and in some cases, quality and safety. Now it's important to start thinking about these as risk management tools, not just workflow tools.
Yeah, really a seat at the table, and not only a seat at the table, but a way to save the company, dollars by doing that. So that's exciting. And of course, again, that's what we believe in, is that the technologies that are actually being used in the field and loved by the field are the ones that are going to have the most impact on risk, because that's what's actually out there. So getting risk managers to really dig into what's really being used, what's the reality in the field, what do the field teams think about technology, I think that's really important first step. Yeah, and then just to land all this, of course, if anyone's interested in Shepherd savings, we would love to get your take on exactly what they should do to reach out to get more information. So what are the next steps there if they want to learn more?
Yeah, we obviously have a website, and we have contact that you can get in touch with us. We'd love for you to also get in touch with your OpenSpace account executive. We work through the brokerage channel, so we're going to pull in your broker and make sure they're aware of your outreach, and make sure that we're getting involved at your next renewal or the next large project that you might be doing. But yeah, we're here for you. We want to get in touch. We want to tell you more about the program. We want to answer questions about the data and the way that we analyze, and ultimately how we give feedback. So I would start with your OpenSpace contact, your account executive, as well as your broker.
Great. Okay, well, I think that wraps it up. Thank you very much for the time. I think it was very interesting. Obviously, we're very excited about this program. I think we've spent years talking to multiple carriers, brokers, insurers, that type of thing, and no one's really been able to connect the dots between the risk reduction of OpenSpace and premium reduction. And so it's really exciting. So thank you, Justin, for being here, and thanks for the partnership.
Thank you, Robert. This has been fun.
All right.